my name is Rueben. I'm a social prescribing link worker for young people 11 to 25 years old. The young people that I work with are referred to me by their GP, and these can be for various reasons. Low confidence, social isolation, and then more lower end mental health as well. So low self-esteem, just feeling really low, self-harm, anxiety, social media, issues with school, which when we work with young people we find is a lot of the source of the problem for them. So when we work with these young people, we do what's called a heads assessment, which looks at home life, education and or employment, activities and hobbies, drugs and alcohol, self-harm and sexual health. And within those different criteria, we ask different questions, which helps us and the young people to unpack some of the issues that they're having, and gives us a bigger overall picture of where they've got really good support and where they might need a little bit more, which then helps us to look at the next steps for that young person. So depending on the young person, we would look at potentially linking them up with youth support, whether it's local youth groups, peer mentors. It might be linking them up with school support, or it might be linking them up with counselling or further support inside the GP for those young people. So could be linking them up with CAMS, the practice mental health nurse, but it depends on that young person and their need. We have made quite a few referrals into employability services as well as substance support as well for young people. So another young person that I've been supporting, she was originally referred to us due to self-harm, but when we met we realised that there were many of the things impacting this young person's life. She has issues with substance misuse. Her mother had recently passed away from an overdose. She'd been living with grandparents because she'd been taken out of mother's care. There had been spells of her going missing as well. Fallen out of education and was really low, at a point where we were quite worried about her safety. But she had a really, really good relationship with her GP, which was one of the best things that we had in terms of that additional support. He knew the family very well, he knew where the issues were, and it was great because he took me aside and just said, look, these are some of the issues that she's having. As well, we know that this is impacting her and this is impacting her. I think what you guys can do would be really good for her. We had an initial meeting, we did the heads assessment like we usually do with every young person. We put in a safety plan in place for this young person in terms of creating a safe word, looking at who is in her support plan, what she can do when she's feeling low. We made a referral into harmless, we made a referral into CGL as well for this young person. But I think the biggest thing for her was a referral into counselling. So with our service, we actually have 2 counsellors that work alongside myself that we can refer directly into. So we've got a really short waiting list, which is 8 to 12 weeks rather than 8 to 12 months like it is with a lot of services. And this person had, I think it was 15 sessions where she was able to understand why she may have been using, understand and get out everything around the trauma with her mum, living with her grandparents and how that sometimes impacts her. We caught up with her again recently, and the change in her from when I first met her to now was she was unrecognisable. She was a completely different young person, smiling, happy, things are going well in her life, she's managing much better, she's managing her money and finances a lot better, and the question I asked was, how have you got to this point? She was like, counselling. having that somebody to talk to, having that person that understood what I was going through and was able to just listen and provide me with feedback and say like, hey, have you tried this? Or, you know, we get that it's not easy and certain times you're going to slip, but you know, it's about picking yourself up and accessing that support that's there for you. She is a completely new person, and just seeing that and seeing the smile and the happiness that she came into the session with was absolutely amazing, which for me is the job. Like, again, it doesn't have to be those major changes that happen. It could be just basically tackling one issue for a young person. Having that is, again, like why most of us do this type of work in terms of working with young people for myself. I think a lot of the times young people can feel like they are just a part of a system. Not only that, but it's having those people that specialise in that work. I'm a social prescribing link worker, but I would put myself as a youth worker first. I've done it for the past 18 years, it's what I do. I work with young people. I enjoy working with young people. It's my expertise, it's my knowledge, and I'm not saying that's not already there in the NHS, but sometimes you need an outside person to come in and go, hey, this is what we do, this is how we do it, and it's worked for us. We've got a proven track record, we know what we're doing. And again, that thing of me going into the practices and them going, hey, we know this is your expertise, you're the person for this, we trust you, and being a part of that team. I don't feel like an outsider when I'm at the practices.
I guess the GPs could tell you exactly how much time that saves them, being able to make that referral. I think being able to support young people in a very short space of time helps reduce waiting lists for GP appointments, other health services. So overall, within the system, if you like, it's going to make huge savings, but also it means that young people are getting the help early so that conditions don't escalate and that becomes a heavier burden on other systems.